Hello my little raindrops, welcome to the channel. I have a huge stack of books. Okay, let me put this down. I saw this and now I want it. Does anyone remember reading this online? I sure do. Welcome to Rainy Days Library. My name is Desiree. It is so nice to have you here. Today we are celebrating 1 year of Rainy Days Library being on YouTube, and so I thought that it would be a perfect time to reintroduce myself. Over the year, the little Raindrops family has grown quite a bit on YouTube, as well as Instagram and TikTok, of course, but I thought I would take the time to introduce myself officially on here. So, first off, my name is Desiree. I am 20 years old. I'll be turning 21 on August 24th. I am doing an honors in English and a minor in visual and material culture studies. I'm currently in my 3rd year, so I will be graduating next year, which is... It's so hard to believe that time flies by this fast. So why is this channel named Rainy Days Library? If you've been following me since the very beginning, you will already know the answer to that question. But if you are new here, let me explain to you a little bit how my entire social media career kind of started. So I opened an Etsy shop in June of 2021 where I sold blind dates with a book. And I did this because I had some books I wanted to get rid of. I was looking for some kind of way to just pass the time. I was, of course, also looking for a way to make some extra money to help pay for my tuition, rent, all that fun university student stuff. And so I started this Etsy shop, and with that I also opened my TikTok account and my Instagram account to, of course, promote the business. And I started posting on TikTok, and I had a video go viral. It was me packing an order for a customer who had ordered over 12 blind dates with a book or something like that, and the video went viral. And so within a couple days, within maybe 2 weeks, I think I was up to 10,000 followers, and it just kept on growing and growing. And so that is kind of how I built my amazing community. But people kept coming back for more than just the business content. They were coming back for me, which is still incredibly hard to believe. I've never been one to really spend a lot of time on social media until, you know, I started Rainy Days Library, and now it's part of my day-to-day life. But people kept coming back for, of course, you know, packing orders and purchasing my products, but also coming back and asking, do you have book recommendations, or do you have tips on how you study at university, and, you know, how do you balance everything out? So they kept coming back for something else than just what I was physically selling. And so in 2022, I started taking social media a little bit more seriously. I gained over 100,000 followers on TikTok, which out of this world, truly. I started taking it more seriously, and I got to work with amazing brands, all because of you guys, because you decided to come on to my little corner of this World Wide Web. I've worked with brands and companies that I've been following or have been a huge fan of since high school. Like, just the fact that I can say this and the fact that I have worked with them is out of this world, and I cannot thank you enough for providing me your support, your love, your enthusiasm, everything that you've been doing over the last 1.5 years. It's just, it warms my heart. So that's kind of how everything started, and a few months back I decided to close the shop. Now, the support for this decision was absolutely out of this world. As with everything that's been going on in my life, I keep saying it's just out of this world. When the pandemic struck, I started struggling with somewhat severe anxiety. Starting the shop actually helped me get out of this very bad place. But I started realizing that the things I was selling on my shop were no longer exactly an accurate representation of what I wanted to offer. And so I made the decision to focus more on myself, my student life, and my career. I started working at Fable as an intern, and I really wanted to focus on that. And so I made the decision to close the shop temporarily. And so that has allowed me to not only just kind of enjoy life a little bit more and live in the moment a little bit more, it's also allowed me to focus on my studies. It's allowed me to focus on social media as well, which I've really taken a liking to posting content. And it's just, I'm not looking to do it as a job necessarily, although it is, right? Like I post on YouTube once a week. It's like this strict schedule that I need to follow. I work with some brands, I do collabs, all that stuff. And so it is, in a way, a job. While it doesn't take a huge part of my life, it is something that I really enjoy doing and that I love focusing on, and it's something I wanted to put more time on this year. And so closing the shop has allowed me to do that. I've been able to focus on posting on Instagram more. I've fallen back in love with posting on TikTok because in recent months I kind of detached from it. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to, and that really did, you know, it made me sad because I remember how much I loved waking up and planning content and recording everything and editing and posting and replying to every single comment. And after a while, I just it was just such a huge priority. It was at the very top of my list all the time, and I wouldn't really focus on anything else. And that's when I realized that my relationship with being a content creator got kind of toxic. So that's why I just kind of took a break from things, made the decision to close the shop temporarily, and have found this new balance in my life, which I've never been happier. Of course, I still have my downs. I still have my anxious phases. It happens. It's part of life. You can't fully avoid it, but you can learn to live with it, and you can learn to help it pass, right? And you can learn to learn from it, which is something that I've thankfully managed to do. So while the shop is not closed forever, I do hope I can eventually reopen in the summer of 2023. I'm not sure if I'm going to be selling the same things I used to. Genuinely, I do not want to do blind dates with a book anymore. It's not something that I see myself doing all that much anymore, which, you know, it's the end of an era. It happens. I would much prefer to create something entirely from scratch and to offer this and be able to say I made this, right? Much like my bookmarks that I started making a few months back. But anyways, that is something else entirely. But this is how Rainy Days Library all started. It was first and foremost an Etsy shop. That is the name of my company, an actual shop that you used to be able to purchase products from. And then I started creating content more, and so now Rainy Days Library stands as a social media influence. So what exactly is this YouTube channel? Obviously it is a booktube channel. I am obviously a huge reader, if you can tell by all the books behind me. I love books more than anything in the world. They are my entire life. I'm pursuing English so that I can work in the world of books. I work at Fable, which is a bookish app where you can create book clubs and you meet a bunch of amazing people. And it's a bookish app made for the bookish community by bookworms. Every single one of us have a passion for books. It's what keeps us going. It's so fantastic. I surround myself with words every single day with every opportunity that I have. That's the primary focus of this account. It's bookstore vlogs, monthly reading wrap-ups, book recommendations, reorganizing my bookshelves, making a TBR, all those fun book-related things. But it is also kind of a digital diary in a way. I do realize that in recent weeks I haven't really posted anything else than book content, but it is something that I see myself broadening over the next couple weeks or perhaps months. Like a travel vlog. I went to Toronto in February. It's a video that I'm currently editing. It's gonna take a while for it to be ready because I have other things to take care of. But there will be travel vlogs, there will be moving vlogs because I'm moving in May and I'm gonna vlog everything for you guys because I love those kinds of videos and I would love to share it with you. So it is first and foremost a booktube account, but it is also kind of a digital diary where I just share some stuff about my day with all of you. Otherwise, if you'd like to get to know me a little bit better, I am the youngest of 5 siblings. They are my step-siblings, but we don't really abide by those titles. I am incredibly close with my parents, and it is something that I do really like to focus on. It is also something I really like to read about. You'll realize whenever I read a book with a very strong family aspect, you'll hear me talking about how important it is to me, how I can see myself reflected in those characters because of the family aspect to it, and I'm incredibly grateful to have this strong connection with my parents. I am Canadian. I am a New Brunswicker, which I feel like there aren't all that many influences from New Brunswick that I've seen. I know a few, which is so cool. It's so great to meet people from New Brunswick and see them on social media. It's just like, oh, look at that, a fellow New Brunswicker. So yes, I am Canadian. I am also French. English is my second language. I've been speaking it since I was about 5 years old. While I have been told that I have a bit of an accent, I've been speaking English for over 15 years now, so I kind of have the hang of it. At least I hope. Sometimes I don't know the words, and you know what? It's fine. I am a huge, huge, huge fan of manga, anime, K-pop, K-dramas, webtoon. It is a huge part of my teenage years, and it is still a huge part of my life now. My brother kind of started everything for me. He went to study in Japan, and when he came back, he introduced me to Studio Ghibli by engraving a CD with the movie Spirited Away, which I have tattoos for this movie. That's another thing we're going to talk about. I have a lot of tattoos. I also live in the middle of the forest, and there's a skidoo thing. Do people say skidoo? Or a snowmobile. So when he came back and introduced me to this world of anime, I was completely smitten. I just fell in love with anime, manga, Japanese culture in general, and from that point it kind of fell into the world of Korean culture. I can write the entire Hangul. I know what it is. I can read and I can speak to a certain degree. I cannot translate in Korean just yet, but I do know how to introduce myself and some other fun words because I've been listening to a lot of K-dramas since I was like 14, 15, so it's been about 5-6 years that I've been surrounded by the Korean language. I have approximately 20 tattoos, I believe, and I got my first one back when I was 17. The first ones I got were this little cloud and this symbol. I got this with my mom and my sister. And from that point onwards, I was absolutely obsessed with getting tattoos, and I just keep getting more and more. And so I do think I have about 20 now. That is something else. A lot of people ask me, can you do a tattoo tour? I will eventually make one, I promise. I don't know when, but I will make one eventually. My absolute favorite book in the entire world is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I do have a tattoo. I got this tattoo done for Small Favors. I read the book in April of last year and I just completely fell in love with it. The world building, the characters, the intrigue, the magical aspects to it, everything is so good. I can't recommend it enough. There's literally nothing about that book that I didn't like. It's fantastic. I think that's most of the fun facts about me, honestly. There's not much else to it, but I actually did this on Instagram. I reintroduced myself to everyone, and I like to talk about things that make me happy, as well as things that I think represent me very well. So some things that make me happy. The feeling of the sun on your face when it's a chilly day out, or the feeling of the sun on your face when there's a cool breeze in the summer. That's two things that make me incredibly happy. The sound of waves crashing on the shore when you're surrounded by trees, just in the summer, just the brightness of the green of the leaves, the sun, hearing the birds. I grew up in the middle of the forest, so I'm very close with nature. It's something that just brings me tremendous joy. The smell of new books, buying new books. When you join this little Raindrops family, you will realize I go to the bookstore a lot, and it's a genuine issue. I have so many books that I buy and I don't read. But you know what? It's fun. It's entertaining. It makes me happy. I love buying books. And buying books and reading them, two very different hobbies, okay? It's two very different things. I love the smell of books, the smell of bookstores, especially independent bookstores or secondhand bookstores. They just have the coziest of feelings. Of course, I love Chapters and Indigo. They're great places, but I also really like secondhand bookstores and independent bookstores. I love to see the reflection of the moon on the ocean. I live like 2 minutes from the Baie des Chaleurs, which is a beautiful body of water, and there's a lookout right next to my mom's restaurant, and it's the most beautiful thing when it's the full moon and it's just reflecting on the water. It's absolutely stunning and it brings me so much joy. I love listening to music. I listen to music almost 24/7. I always have a pair of headphones on me, whether they're, you know, my Bluetooth headphones or earphones. I always have something to listen to music with. It helps me just calm down if I'm feeling anxious. It brings me comfort. and it just brings me a lot of joy. I mean, it's music, right? It's so good. If I were to choose a favorite song, it would probably be Tapestry by Bruno Major. I love that song with my entire heart. It is a song that I plan on getting a tattoo for. Or anything by Ed Sheeran. He is one of my absolute favorite artists. I actually have a tattoo from one of his songs. I have 2 lines. Whatever you feel can never be wrong, from Sandman. Whatever you feel is in my mom's handwriting, and can never be wrong is in my dad's handwriting. It's right here. I got this last year. Ed Sheeran, Bruno Major, Patrick Watson. There's so many artists that I love. And what else? Flipping through an annotated book. That brings me tremendous joy. And annotating is also something that kind of got me this level of recognition on TikTok, especially towards the end of 2021, when I launched my annotating bookmark in October 2021, and I started selling annotated books a few weeks after, in early November 2021. And so I kind of got known more for my annotating products at that point. So blind dates with a book weren't so much of a thing in the end of 2021, and my annotating products and me sharing my annotations and just talking about the practice in general kind of like rebranded my platform and my business a little bit. Just flipping through an annotated book, it brings me so much joy. Like, wait, let's see, this one here, see? I love to see it so much. It brings me so much joy. Things that represent me, I would probably say rain is one thing. Books is another. Sweaters, like old grandpa sweaters. If you look at my profile picture for this account, I commissioned an artist to draw me in like that form, and the sweater I'm wearing is like a staple sweater. My followers will know this. I wear this sweater very often, and it's actually my late grandmother who bought this sweater for my dad quite a long time ago. And before I moved to university, I took the sweater out of my dad's closet and I took it with me because he wasn't wearing it, and I wanted this little thing to just like remind myself of my dad. I mean, I only live 3 hours away from home, so it's not a huge drive, you know, I'm not too far away, but I still wanted to bring the sweater. I attach emotions and memories to clothing very often, as well as comfort. When my mom wasn't home and I had to go to bed, I would steal one of her sweaters and sleep with it because it smelled like her, it reminded me of her. I do the same thing when my boyfriend is gone. I'm back home right now because my boyfriend is gone for the entire week in Newfoundland for a military training, and I didn't want to be alone at the apartment, so I came back home and I have one of his sweaters with me because it reminds me of him and it brings me that comfort. So I do that very often. Green. The color green, like more like sage, that color represents me. It is the color of my business logo. It's also my favorite color. Really represents me, I would say. I feel like fairy lights are also, you know, like little greenery and little dazzling lights. Stars, that is a huge thing. I absolutely love stars. I love astronomy. While I don't know a lot about it, I do love the concept and I wish I could study it a bit more. It's something that maybe I'll pick up during the summer. Crocheting, that just like a crocheted blanket makes me think of me because I love crocheting. I am not a professional. I only recently started crocheting, but I do really like doing it. Planners, stationery, and organization. I love stationery so much. I love being organized. It's having that amount of control over my life. It brings me a lot of comfort and it feels very safe, so I guess that's something that makes me think of myself. I think that's long enough for an introduction video, don't you think? Honestly, I just wanted to make this like a 5-minute video, but another thing about me, I tend to talk a lot. When I start talking about something, I just keep going and going, and I add more to it as I keep going. But it's okay. It makes me me, basically. That is that for my introduction. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Honestly, I never in a million years would have thought that one day I would be a content creator, that I would be a YouTuber. I never thought this would happen, and it would not have happened without all of you. So thank you. I don't mean to be cheesy or corny or anything. I am just genuinely so thankful and grateful to have this community there to support me and back me up and just be a part of my life. And I'm just very happy to be part of this amazing bookish community. It's been a great time and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. Things might change, but that's all part of life. We change, we grow, we evolve. It's how we become the versions of ourselves that we are, and I can't wait to go through it with all of you. Thank you for joining the little Raindrops family. It really does mean the world, and I'm so glad to have you here. Feel free to look through all my videos that I've posted in the past year, because 365 days, you guys. We've had this community on YouTube for a full year now, and I can't wait to see what the next few years have in stock for us. I will let you all go, and I will see you guys in the next one.